Your greetings, cyberdogs and citizens of the interwebs. This is ReNDoG, aka the Big Cheez, coming at you in another episode of Modern Minecraft from the FoolCraft 3 server. How's it going, everybody, man? Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're doing awesome wherever you are in the world right now. I've had a really nice start to my morning. I thank you for asking. Spent a couple of hours in the sun and just vein mined a big chunk of this that I didn't mean to do. That was really dumb. Anyway, spent my morning in the sunshine. It's been a beautiful day in England today, a wonderful summer's afternoon, and I have now just made myself a cup of tea. I've got some sun on my face. I am ready to play some Minecraft with you fine people out there. I'll fix this some other time. Let's just ignore it for now, okay? We're back in the Outback, my friends, back at Big Cheez Power. Last time we were together, we were working on this jazz. Also, last time we did a whole bunch of jobs, didn't we? And I am awaiting payment from the government for all of those tasty jobs that we did. Amazing. It's almost the start of a new week too, so we're going to be getting our living wage too. Another 150 bucks in the belly. And that's going to get us pretty close to the money we need to buy our plot. But today, my friends, we're not going to be bothering with any of that stupid frickin' tomfoolery. Instead, we're going to be hanging out here in the Outback, trying to advance our power situation over here. Currently, we are trying to generate a bunch of power out of toasted cheese sandwiches. And the idea is that out here in Big Cheez Power, we're going to be creating a massive power facility that is not only going to be producing grilled cheese, but it's going to be turning the grilled cheese into power and storing a ridiculous amount of that power. And yeah, since we were last together, I've done a little bit more upgrading to our machines over here. I've added a couple of input chests for our alloy smelter and our sag mill. They've been producing a whole bunch of super useful stuff here. At the back, I've also added the compressors, or the compactors, excuse me, and a furnace over here too. So things are going pretty good. A couple of other things are getting set up around here too. Man, every time a cactus pricks me in the butt, I've got to break it. A bunch of things here. I've made a couple of those conduits now that we were trying to get done last episode from all of the stuff coming out of this little mini factory. This thing we're going to be making in a second, and I've also been sort of transferring a couple of items here and there from the Ren Cave over here to Big Cheez. Also set up a waystone over here for Big Cheez Power, so it's much easier for us to get from the Ren Cave to here now. And the sun is going down, so let's sleep the frickin' night away. There we go, baby. Now, dudes, I have got a plan. Oh, before I forget, we need to make a pet today, don't we? That's the current rule. We got to have a pet and we got to take care of it every episode. Luckily for us, that's kind of covered by this very cute little anvil pet. Look at him blinking away. Oh, he's the best, and he's got his little mouth too. Let's make this our pet for the episode, shall we? Look at him. Oh, he's glorious. Unfortunately, he only sticks around for a couple minutes, so the challenge for today's episode is to make sure that the anvil pet is with us at all times, and we're going to call her Annie. Okay, it's Annie the Anvil Pet. She's adorable. And we are feeding her iron nuggets, so that also matches that requirement to feed the pet. And yeah, she's going to follow us around, I guess. Look at her. She's absolutely adorable. So that's our pet, government. Good. That rule has been met. We've made a chicken, we've made a penguin, and now we've made Annie the Anvil. So a great week on the FoolCraft 3 server. I think you would all agree. Come on, Annie, you little cutie. We got work to do out here. Now, dudes, let's talk a little bit more about power today, okay? We're going to get a little bit more technical today, less tomfoolery and more modded Minecraft for today's episode. I am in the mood to do some technical stuff, okay? As much as I love derping around in modded Minecraft, I also love making machines. And today we are going to be making some pretty awesome machines from the Immersive Engineering mod. Now, Immersive Engineering, as you can see, has got a bunch of very interesting blocks in it, but what you can't see here are the amazing multi-block structures that we can make in Immersive Engineering. And this is what we're going to be trying to achieve today, guys. Let's pop ourselves over to the Ren Cave, and let's make sure we bring Annie with us. Hi, Annie. There you are. We are going to be trying something kind of interesting today, okay? We've got a little bit of a grilled cheese factory over here that we've worked on in the series so far, and what I realized realized about this grilled cheese factory is that we are making wheat, but on top of that, we are producing excess seeds, right? We're producing a whole bunch of seeds, in fact, which we are currently voiding in this system. Let me get one of these seeds out over here. So currently, all of those seeds get destroyed in a trash can, and I read a comment from one of you guys about the fact that we could actually turn these seeds into something really, really interesting. Oh, dang it. This gets a little bit complicated, guys. Let me see if I can actually find this thing. Yes, here it is, the industrial squeezer. Okay, so check it out. Seeds can be made into plant oil, right? Plant oil can be turned into biodiesel in something called a refinery. So we can make plant oil in a squeezer, it was called an industrial squeezer or something from Immersive Engineering. Then we can turn the plant oil with a little bit of ethanol into something called biodiesel, right? And what biodiesel does is it is the fuel for something called, it doesn't show us here, but it's something called a diesel generator from Immersive Engineering. And a diesel generator actually produces quite a ridiculous amount of RF. So what we're going to be doing out here, guys, in the Big Cheez Power Plant is we're going to be generating RF from culinary generators, which are going to be producing RF from grilled cheese sandwiches, but we're also going to be making use of those seeds, those excess seeds that we are going to be getting from the factory producing the materials for grilled cheese. And we're going to be using those seeds, almost recycling, I guess, to create this energy source from something called a biodiesel generator or a diesel generator. We can't actually see what these things are, unfortunately, in the NEI because, well, they're multi-block structures, meaning, and this is going to be the really cool thing about today's episode, we've got to build a whole bunch of blocks together to make one structure, right? And take a look at this. I've got a couple of these things already created in one of these bags of holding. I think it's in this one. Yeah, look at this. All of these things is what we're going to be making today. So check this out, my dudes. This is going to be so sweet. So using 4 different machines from Immersive Engineering, we are going to be generating a ridiculous amount of RF from your humble seed. And to get this done, we're going to have to make something called a refinery, a fermenter, an industrial squeezer, and a diesel generator. And to make that stuff, guys, as you can see, we need a whole bunch of different blocks over here. Now, this looks super intimidating, but it's actually not that difficult to create all of these things. In fact, all you need to do what we're going to be doing today is this setup that we have over here. You need a sag mill, you need an alloy smelter, and you need some compressors over here. And from all of those materials, you can generate all of these things, right? The most important thing is probably the steel scaffolding, which is made out of steel ingots and steel rods. And steel ingots are pretty easy to make, man. All you need to do is, hold on, let's see if we can find it. Yeah, there we, no, wait, hang on. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. There it is. All you need to do is send some iron ingots and some pulverized coal through an alloy smelter, and that makes you steel. And steel is pretty much the foundation for all of the blocks here in Immersive Engineering. This is iron plates, which is very, very easy to make. All we're doing here is compressing iron ingots in these compressor machines, and that makes compressed iron plates. That's what I'm saying. This is all you need to create the stuff that we're going to make today. And yeah, what are some of the other more interesting blocks here? Iron sheet metals are made out of these iron plates, which is pretty cool. The Redstone Engineering block is made out of copper, redstone, and iron ingots, so that's super easy to make. The heavy engineering blocks are pretty cool, though. Check this out. Steel ingots, pistons, and electrum ingots. And electrum ingots are made with gold and silver in an alloy smelter. So once again, pretty easy to make if you've got the infrastructure. And then steel mechanical components are steel plates with copper ingots. So you're running steel ingots through the compactors, right? Now, let's head over here, because this is kind of an interesting thing that we're making over here. We need something called treated wood. Okay, because in one of the recipes that we're going to be working on today, we need to make something called a wooden barrel. And a wooden barrel is made out of treated wood planks, which are made out of creosote oil buckets surrounded by normal planks. And to make that creosote, we need to make this thing over here. So this is a coke brick over here. Pretty easy to make a coke brick. All you need to do is put together bricks, clay, sandstone, and boom, you get some coke bricks. But with the hammer from Immersive Engineering, boom, we can turn this thing into a coke oven. And what we do in this thing is we jam a bunch of coal into this thing, and this will, I believe, create creosote oil for us. All right, let's let that creosote cook away in that coke oven over here, guys. And in the meantime, let's start working on the foundations for our immersive engineering biodiesel power plant that is going to be forming a part of our massive Big Cheez Power plant out here. Oh, man, it is going to be so sweet. So, as I've been explaining, guys, we're going to be making multi-block structures from immersive engineering today, and they are absolutely massive. The most important of these multi-block structures, or should I say the final part of the multi-block structure power plant factory that we're going to be making, is the biodiesel generator. And I think the biodiesel generator is actually 3 blocks wide by 5 blocks deep. It's an absolutely massive structure that's going to take up quite a lot of space, right? And we're going to be making 4 of these multi-block structures, and each of them is about this size. They're about 3 blocks by 5 blocks. Some are a little bit smaller, some are a little bit bigger, but yeah, that's about how big they are. So I want to make sure we have enough space to do this, right? So this is going to be the biodiesel generator, and by the way, it is going to look absolutely pimp-tastic. You want to stick around for this, man. I know this looks a little bit janky right now, but trust me, this is going to blow your minds, man. We're going to be making a total of 4 machines, right? 4 massive machines for our biodiesel power plant, and we're going to need a ton of space for this. So let's assume each of the machines is going to be a good solid 3 blocks wide. I want to have a nice bit of space between them, so 3 blocks between them. That should give us more than enough space to work with. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is going to become the end of our power plant over here, right? They're all going to fit under one big tin roof. I think we'll have this part of our power plant all under one roof. We could potentially bring these 2 in front of these 2, maybe. That might be a little bit better, but I think this is going to look pretty sweet. Having 4 massive machines next to each other, it's going to look pretty cool from down here, I think. Yeah, I think we'll keep it that way. You know, we've got a lot of space to work out here in the outback, and we actually have to do quite a lot of piping and stuff in between these machines, so I think it's probably better that we keep them in a row like this. Anyway, that's about as much space as we're going to need for each of the different machines, and I guess I'm going to need a bunch of bricks to actually make this work. So I'm going to get some foundations and stuff laid out around here, guys, and there we can start making some immersive engineering machines. And man, I hope you guys are ready to have your minds blown, because it's going to be freaking sweet. Oh my goodness, guys, I have just discovered something awesome in FoolCraft, the Squid Pit. It is so sweet. Not only is it ridiculously cute, look at that thing, but it is a great way for us to find clay. And for some reason, I've decided to use clay as the primary building block for the Big Cheez Power plant, making my life very difficult. But with the squid, I can very easily just float through these rivers and find a bunch of clay deposits over here. And I've been doing this now for about 20 minutes or so, and as soon as my inventory is filled up, I'm headed back to Big Cheez Power, baby, and dropping all of that clay, all of that raw clay anyway, into our alloy smelter, which is of course cooking 3 of the clays at a time. Very, very useful. And yeah, making a bunch of clay over here, and then of course chiseling that clay into the clay blocks that we need to make our beautiful power plant. So there we go. We stick in the stupid bricks in here, turning it into normal or chiseled bricks rather, and then we're heading over here to the power plant that I've been working on. And yes, it's looking pretty massive, isn't it? It's going to be so cool, dudes. It is taking a ridiculous amount of clay, though, to get this thing done. So yeah, I'm probably going to have to do this for another hour or so, but we're getting there. We're getting there. The foundations are looking good, baby. Well, the first foundations for Big Cheez Power are down, guys. And this is getting me super excited, man. We got a freaking cow. It's just chilling, enjoying the view. What's happening, cow, my dude? I think he probably appreciates the amount of time I've had to spend getting a bunch of clay over here. Let's get Annie out here too to have some appreciation. Let's have a ReNDoG appreciation moment with some weird creatures over here. Ah, thank you. Ah, thank you. Anyway, let's continue here, my friends. Let's start working on our very first immersive engineering multi-block factory machine. This creosote coke oven generating thingy should be done now. Yeah, there we go. It's made for ourselves a creosote oil bucket. Beautiful. And to get that done, you just put an empty bucket in there and it picks up a little bit of creosote for you. So that's pretty simple to make. So we are going to be making our very first thing called the industrial squeezer. And to make this thing, well, we are going to need one of these things, a wooden barrel, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, there it is. And to make the wooden barrel, as I said, we need the treated wood planks. So that's where we're going to start things off, right? Creosote oil surrounded by planks. That makes for ourselves a bunch of treated wood planks. Beautiful. let's just make a couple of those just in case we need a few more. And from this, we're going to need some slabs, I think, and that should be able to make us this. All right, there we go. 4 wooden barrels is what we need for our very first thing, which is the industrial squeezer. The industrial squeezer is going to be squeezing plant juices out of the seeds, or should I say plant oil out of the seeds, and that is going to be the start of our biofuel section, the recycling biofuel section of Big Cheez Power. Who says Big Cheez Power isn't going to be frickin' environmentally friendly? You know what I'm saying? That's why it's getting done all the way out here in the desert, guys, so we don't cause too much pollution to the area. All right, here we go, guys. I've spent a little bit of time organizing my inventory and organizing my brain, most importantly, because this is where things get a little bit complicated, but this is where things get super freaking awesome. Let's make our very first immersive engineering multi-block factory structure. And we're going to be making something called an industrial squeezer, which is going to be squeezing plant oil out of seeds. And, well, the cool thing about immersive engineering multi-block structures is that it's basically like you're making a little factory using the blocks, right? So check it out. We got some pipes running in the center of our factory, and now we got some scaffolding around it, right? Of course, this machine needs to be held together by something. And on top of that, it needs to have some sort of internal engineering to make it work. So with the light engineering blocks, we've got the cogs and the moving parts in there, the wiring and whatnot. That is going to be controlling this system over here, right? Now, we've got a pipe over here that is going to be collecting all of that plant oil, and of course we need to squeeze that plant oil in something. So we're going to be squeezing the plant oil inside of this big wooden barrel. And you can see, I think, the pipe actually connects to the wooden barrel over there. So how are we going to be squeezing all of that oil out of the seeds? Well, of course, we're going to be using a good old-fashioned piston, which, using our engineering hammer, we can make it face downwards. And that's going to be pushing down on the seeds, right, in the wooden barrel over here. But, of course, there might be some seeds on this side of the barrel that don't get squeezed. So let's make a bit of a mesh out of the steel fence. And that's going to be connected to the piston. And that's going to be pushing down and squeezing that plant oil out of the seeds, right? Now, of course, we need to get this whole thing fired up. So let's get a bit of a redstone engineering block over here. That's the computer of this little factory, I suppose. And that is the multi-block structure built. And that's what I love most about these immersive engineering factories, is that they are intuitive, right? Now, let's get our engineering hammer out, hold down shift, right click over there, and boom, baby! Our industrial squeezer has been made. And look how freaking cool this thing is, guys. It is absolutely amazing. I love it, man. It looks so freaking rad. It just suits this build so perfectly, right? Isco was completely right, man. If you can imagine when we get our tin roof going and we get this whole outback power plant up and running, it's going to look absolutely beautiful. I kind of feel like this thing should be on stilts or something, though, right? We need to raise this up one block and maybe put it on iron fences or something, or steel fences even. But yeah, that's awesome. So step 1, the seeds are going to get squeezed into plant oil. Step 2, we are going to be, well, refining the plant oil into biofuel so that it can be used in the biodiesel generator. But we're getting one step ahead of ourselves here. Let me get the next part of this project organized. Oh yes, that works so beautifully, guys. I just raised up our squeezer on top of these steel fences and they actually share the same color palette, right? So they match absolutely beautifully, man. Yo, Carl, get out of here, my dude. Also, I keep forgetting about Annie. She keeps disappearing, man. Let's put her over there. There you go. I'm trying to keep you around here, Annie, okay? Stop disappearing on me, you little cutie face. Get out of the stupid way, Carl, you idiot. I'm trying to build over here. Please, get your cactus butt out of this place. Anyway, so dudes, next multi-block factory to make is going to be the refinery. So we are getting plant oil out of seeds now. Now we need to turn that plant oil into biodiesel, right? And we're going to be doing that in a multi-block structure called a refinery. And this one's kind of tricky to make, actually, especially considering we're doing it on top of these steel fences. Annie, please get out of the way. What are you doing, girl? Anyway, so this refinery is going to be combining plant plant oil and ethanol to create biodiesel, right? So this is going to be the pipe that's going to be, I guess, pumping all of that fluid through the entire structure. And we're going to use some scaffolding to build it up over here. And then I believe what we do is we have one side where we have the heavy engineering block, which is kind of an expensive block to make. And then on the other side, we have the light engineering block. This is, of course, a pretty advanced structure, right? This is doing some pretty serious work. And we're going to build both of these up by another one, I believe. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to stick the redstone engineering block over here, of course, to control the whole thing. And then we need a couple of tanks. One of the tanks is going to be holding the plant oil, of course, so that's going to chill over here. And then another of the tanks is going to be holding, I guess, the ethanol that is going to be used to combine with the plant oil to produce biofuel. And that, I believe, is the multi-block structure. And I think we right-click on, let's get rid of this one, though. I think we right-click on the advanced engineering block. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. That is the refinery, my dudes. Let's get into the GUI for this. So this is where the plant oil is going to go. And, oh no, Annie's going. That's the timer to say goodbye to Annie. We'll smell you later, baby. That's where the plant oil goes. And then we've got to get ethanol into this thing so that they can combine to produce biofuel. So the way that we're going to get ethanol is kind of interesting, but that's pretty sweet, right? That's looking absolutely beautiful. Next step, of course, is to create the ethanol so that we can turn the plant oil into biofuel. However, to make ethanol is a little bit of a process. Let's have a look at the recipe for ethanol. We've got to stick one of these things into an industrial fermenter. A potato, an apple, a melon, or a sugarcane. So we have to basically infinitely produce one of these types of fruit and then stick it into an industrial fermenter, which is another multi-block from in immersive engineering. So I guess we should make the industrial fermenter first, and then we can figure out how we're going to feed it with all of this, well, stuff. I'm definitely having way too much fun making these immersive engineering structures. I just love how intuitive they are. I find this so incredibly fascinating and so incredibly fun. Let's make the fermenter from immersive engineering, okay? The fermenter is going to be making ethanol for the refinery over here. And we're going to start with our stilts. And then I believe it is made a little something like this. So we've got our scaffolding like so. Watching another screen over here to get the recipe, by the way. I'd like to say I know this off by heart, but that would be a lie. We got the scaffolding, of course. Now we got the cogs, the light engineering, bits and pieces, keeping the little factory running. We're going to need some pipage in the middle. Hi, dude. Seriously? Annie? Hi. Listen, you need just... you know, get out of my way. I'm busy, you stupid cow. Anyway, so we got the pipage over there. Very good. And now we need to get up here, I believe. And we need to, of course, fire this thing up with some redstone controller action, which looks like I've forgotten somewhere. Oh, I have forgotten it. All right, there we go. So we need the redstone controller, of course, to get this whole bad boy fired up. That's going to go over here. And, of course, we need somewhere to ferment stuff in, right? So we're going to be fermenting the potatoes, I suppose, inside of these cauldrons, which is pretty cool. And I think that is everything that you actually need to create this particular multi-block. And I don't think we need... I think we need a couple of these, like so. Yeah, and then I think we right-click on the middle block here. Or somewhere around here. Hold on. Oops. No, that's cute, but it's wrong. I think I completely messed that one up. This one's been a little bit of a pain in the butthole to make, hasn't it? Am I missing something here? I know what we've missed, guys. We're going to be fermenting potatoes in here, so you can imagine the gaseous fumes that are going to be coming from the fermenter. We need to put a lid on these cauldrons over here, right, with this iron sheet metal. That, I believe, is the fermenter done, and I'm not entirely sure where we're supposed to right-click over here. I think this might be on the wrong side. Actually, let me try and move this across to this side. That's usually what happens. That's usually the mistake. And no, I messed up the pipe once again. And it's not really intuitive where you're supposed to click. There we go. Okay, I found the button that you're supposed to right-click. That's the fermenter, my dude. So we got to get potatoes in here. That's going to make ethanol. Then we got to get the ethanol into the refinery with the plant oil from the squeezer. And that's going to create biodiesel. And that biodiesel is going to be the fuel that we need to fire up our diesel generator. Although I'm thinking thinking we might have done this the wrong way around. Maybe we need to have the refinery, sorry, the fermenter over here and the refinery over here. We might need to switch these two. Yeah, we do. Dang it! Well, the good news is, guys, I now know these recipes off by heart, considering I've had to rebuild these things a number of times now. But I just switched the fermenter and the refinery around, and that's probably going to help us out pretty good. So these two are going to produce everything that the refinery needs, and then the refinery will produce the final product for the diesel generator. Now, this is the coup de grace of our immersive engineering multi-block power plant, my dudes. This thing is so freaking sweet, but in order to make this thing, we do need to do a little bit of work, which is kind of interesting. So I thought I'd bring you back for this. I've got a whole bunch of weird stuff in my inventory over here. Let me get all of this stuff ready, because we need to make, to start off with, something called a generator block for this final piece of the puzzle. And the generator block needs something called electrum ingots, which I did make already, actually. That is pretty easy to make, just gold and silver in an alloy smelter. Nice and simple. But if we get into this kinetic thingy, the Kinetic Dynamo, we need copper coil blocks. And to make this, we need LV wire coils, and that needs sticks and copper wire. And copper wire needs some copper plating and some shears. So that's where we're going to start with, right? Copper plating and some shears. And the copper plating comes from those compressors or whatever, those compactors that we made last episode. So let's just make a bunch of these. Beautiful. I don't actually know how many of these we need. I think we need quite a few, actually. But we got to make this stuff, right? I think... Yeah, wait, hang on, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. We're going to go all the way down here. Yeah, we need to make a bunch of this stuff. 16 might not be enough, because I think we need 4 of these things. That's kind of annoying, actually. I think we are going to need 4 of these things. I'm only going to need to make more. Oh, and we need redstone too. Oh, dang it. Oh, this is so exciting. That's all of the bits and pieces ready for the diesel generator, my dudes. And all we need to do now is put this thing together. And it is so awesome how this one is, this particular one is made. We're going to start with the radiator blocks, right? So this is going to be a generator. And for a generator to work, of course, it needs a lot of cooling power. And so we're going to be making a giant radiator on the back of this thing, right? Look at that. That's going to be sucking out all of the heat out of the generator. Next up, of course, we need to get a little bit of infrastructure down, I suppose, into the bottom of the diesel generator. Very nice. And of course, we need to start pumping some water into that radiator to keep the whole system cool, right? So we're going to have some piping down here. And then, of course, we're going to have the generator block over here. This is where the power is going to be generated. So I suppose the pipe isn't ready for water. The pipe is to pump cool water into the generator block, right? So I guess this is where the magic happens. The generator blocks is what produces the energy. But that's looking pretty sweet. Now, of course, we need to get some engineering in here, and we need to get this thing fired up, of course. So redstone engineering block, that's going to be controlling the generator. And then we're using 13 heavy engineering blocks to get this thing fired up. And I believe it looks a little something like this. There we go. Yeah, that's it. And I actually made one too many radiator blocks, but that's okay. So that is the multi-structure for the diesel generator. Look how cool that thing is. Oh man, but it gets better. We're going to make this thing come to life now by clicking somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where. I think it might be on the redstone block. No. Is it on the middle of the engineering block? No. Hang on. It's on one of these things. You got to click somewhere. Hello? Can you please come to life, my dude? Crisis averted, everybody. Just spotted what I've done wrong here. I've actually built the thing incorrectly. What we need to do is add another couple more pipes over here, which I guess is extracting the heat or allowing the heat to dissipate from the generator. And the generator blocks go above these 2 pipes like that. There we go. That's the recipe. And there we go. Boom, baby. Bad for the environment goal has been achieved. Nice. Our very first biodiesel generator, or diesel generator, should I say. And how cool does this thing look? Look, it's got its radiators. It's got the, I don't know what these things are called in an engine. The carburetors. I don't know. But that is a diesel power plant ready to go, guys. How cool is that? It actually doesn't have an interface at all. All we need to do is pump liquid diesel into this thing, and then we can pull cables from these positions here, these little copper connections. This is where the power will be generated from. So that is all of our multi-block structures created for frickin' immersive engineering. We're squeezing plant oil out of the squeezer. We are creating ethanol out of the industrial fermenter. We're then using the plant oil and the ethanol in the refinery to create diesel, and the diesel is going to be powering the diesel generator to produce a ridiculous amount of RF for us. And of course, that is all going to be starting with the humble seed that we are going to be getting from our grilled cheese factory here at Big Cheez Power. Now, this is feeling pretty good, my dudes, having all of these beautiful immersive engineering structures here. Unfortunately, none of them are working at the moment, and we still have a lot of work to do to get this place fired up. We need to start right here at the industrial fermenter. That's going to be one of the most important parts of this entire power plant over here, and we need to find a way to get some potatoes up into the fermenter, and I think we're going to do it underneath this thing. We're going to hide this little potato farm that I'm going to create over here, because we're going to be using exactly what we are using in the grilled cheese factory to get this done, right? A couple of mechanical users over here, and they don't really suit this build very well, right? They look a little bit ugly, if I'm completely honest with you, and I don't really want them sort of above ground over here. So let's put this underneath the fermenter, and it's going to be pretty easy to do, right? We've got our absorption hopper in place. We've got a couple of dirt blocks over here that we are going to hoe, and then of course we need to plant some potatoes in there, which I don't have with me right now because, well, I forgot and I'm an idiot, but that's okay. We can work on the piping and stuff over here, and now that we've got these beautiful Endurio item conduits, we can plug those into the absorption hopper instead of those other janky cables. And of course we just want to make it look kind of nice down here, and I really like how these bricks look. Actually, I think they look really sweet, even though we're never going to come down here. It's fine, right? We just want to make the place look good. Anyway, what we'll do, of course, is run some of these item conduits. Let's pull an item conduit from the back of the absorption hopper like that, and this will get pulled all the way over here, and then that can go all the way up and around the back of the fermenter. I think that we have to go into the side of the tank here with the potatoes. There we go. I think that's the plug. Yeah, that's the plug where we have to send stuff into. So that's going to come around the back, and we can probably try and neaten this up even further and push this cable back a little bit. But yeah, we need to get the potatoes in, and we need to get this thing fired up. Of course, we're going to have a cable running from the sheep part of the grilled cheese factory to send bone meal into this to get this thing working, right? But that's an engineering task for another day. Let's just get some potatoes made down here. Cyber dogs, that looks so freaking sweet, am I right? These machines just fit in with this biome so very well. Unbelievably awesome. Anyway, got myself a couple potatoes from the rain cave, and let's see if we can get this thing fired up. I've also plugged in a temporary chest for bone meal over here. So let's put a bunch of bone meal into this chest, and that should be piping bone meal into the mechanical users over here, which isn't quite working. Do we need to turn these on, I suppose? No, maybe this node is not actually on right now. Let's have a look. Always active, round robin enabled, and oh, there we go. I didn't put it on round robin, but there we go. Now we'll get bone meal into the mechanical users. Beautiful. And I think we got to change this to use item on block. There we go. Beautiful. Now we can plant the potatoes, and they're going to get grown by the mechanical users, sucked up by the absorption hopper, which has a bunch of rubbish in it right now. And that's also making poisonous potatoes, which is a little bit of a problem. So we probably have to get a filter set up over here to deal with the poisonous potatoes. But if the absorption hopper has been set up correctly, which it looks like it has, this should be pumping in the potatoes into the fermenter, which doesn't seem to be working. Does this need to be changed to always active? Let's have a look. Okay, that's interesting. So we're not sending... Oh, it's on extract. I'm an idiot. It needs to be changed to insert. There we go. So the potatoes are arriving in the industrial fermenter. And yeah, we need to set up a filter here for poisonous potatoes. But that's good. That's real good news. The fermenter's not going to work, of course, because it needs some power. But yeah, that's one step closer to getting this whole thing fired up. Nice! Please do excuse the disaster that is my inventory right now, guys, okay? This is a very complicated project. Lots of items required. Now, the potatoes seem to be cooking away very, very good, and we got a good couple of stacks in the fermenter over here. Perfect. So, next step, I suppose, is to get the squeezer filled up with the stuff that it needs, and of course, it needs some seeds, so I have set up an iron chest over here with an item conduit, and that should be filling up the squeezer with seeds. We're going to be getting seeds, of course, for the squeezer from our grilled cheese factory, which we're going to remake out here, the same one that we made at the Ren Cave. But yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so we can stick seeds in there, potatoes in there, and then I suppose we need to get some power into all of these things. And I guess the way that we're going to be doing that is by using the diesel generator itself to power up the bits that it needs to create the fuel for itself, so to speak, right? So we're going to create some sort of an autonomous sort of production facility over here. And he's trying to get up here. Oh, she's so cute. Anyway, so I thought maybe what we could do is try and figure that out together, because I think that's going to be pretty sweet. Where you see these little copper connections, that's where you need to run your power cables, right? So maybe what we'll do is have like a nice long wire that we can pull, and we'll try and keep everything as sort of symmetrical as possible over here. There we go. So once the diesel generator is up and running, we'll be able to pull some power into the what is this thing? The refinery over here, and then we can just continue with the power line. Try and make it as neat as possible and get both of these other things plugged into. I'm having way too much fun with this, guys. This is so freaking sweet. I've got each of these factories now plugged into the biodiesel generator via this cable. Looking pretty cool. I think we could probably neaten it up a little bit at some point, but for now, that's probably all we need. I wish we could get this thing fired up right now, but unfortunately, we don't have any diesel to hand, which means we might need to borrow one of our capacitor banks over here, right? Just to get things fired up. Let's borrow one of these capacitor banks, which should be fully charged. Yeah, we've got about, how much do we have in here? 5 million RF. That should be enough to get our fermenter and our squeezer up and running, right? Just to see if we can get these things cranking. So let's plug in our capacitor over here and let's have a look. Are these things fired up now? Are they receiving power? No power is coming to them, unfortunately. Hang on. Do I need to configure this perhaps? Let's have a look. Let's change this to output at the back of that capacitor bank, and that there we go. Look at that. We got some squeezage happening over there. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. It's actually going up and down, squeezing those seeds. That is amazing. Making ourselves some plant oil over here. Very, very nice. Is the fermenter making ethanol? Yes, it is. It's making ethanol. Beautiful. So we got to get the plant oil and the ethanol into the refinery, and that is going to produce diesel for us. So actually, we might be able to get this thing up and running today with a little bit of cabling. I think it's going to be kind of messy though, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to make, I think. But I suppose this is the exit hole for the liquid, and I think we've got to put ethanol into this one, I believe. So maybe what we can do is run the ethanol like this. How are we going to do this neatly? I'm not entirely sure, man. Maybe we have to go downwards to try keep it nice and neat. Don't let the very happy bow tie fool you guys. I'm a little bit sad right now by what we have done today. It looks freaking sweet, right? Well, I think it looks freaking sweet except for the cabling, which I don't think matches this build very well, right? The Ender IO cables are actually very advanced looking. They almost look like they belong on a spaceship. And the immersive engineering buildings, or factories, I suppose, are kind of old school. So I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. We're going to have to try and figure something out over here. The good news is, guys, I've been at this now for about 6 hours, and we are finally ready to give this entire system a test. If I've set this up correctly, we should have a self-power supplying diesel power plant of awesomeness. And once we are generating basically infinite seeds out here, this thing will run forever. And it will be generating power out of some of the waste that we are producing from our culinary generator array. So that's pretty freaking sweet, man. Now, what I've had to do here is add some fluid tanks into the mix. A fluid tank between the fermenter and the squeezer, because the fluid wasn't really going into the refinery very well. I don't know. These fluid pipes, I don't know. They're kind of buggy, I think. They look really cool though, right? I love seeing the liquid flow through them, but I think they're not really working the way that I expect them to. Anyway, let's give this entire system a test over here, guys. We're going to throw the seeds in here. The squeeze is going to start making some plant oil. We should see that plant oil now traveling through this pipe, getting stored temporarily in this tank, and then this tank is sending the fluid into the refinery over here, and the plant oil is landing up over here. So you got to put your plant oil pipe in on this side of the machine, and of course the ethanol is coming from this thing over here. The what is this thing called? The industrial fermenter, right? So let's add a little bit of bone meal into this chest over here to get the potatoes cooking, and there we go. The potatoes are ending up in here producing a little bit of ethanol, and the refinery is producing biodiesel over there. Very nice. Now we need to get the biodiesel out of the refinery and into the biodiesel generator, right? And we've got a little bit of diesel over here, so I think we can get rid of the capacitor bank, and hopefully this biodiesel generator is going to get fired up over here when we make this connection. Annie, you need to see this, baby. This is going to be beautiful. Let's connect up. Oh, oops, my bad. Let's connect up a fluid conduit over here. Turn this to always active, and that is the color of the diesel. Oh, what's that noise? Oh, it sounds like it's trying to fire up over here. Oh, that's awesome. It's literally like the engine of a giant tractor or something. Look at that. Oh, that is amazing. It's literally trying to fire itself up over here, but it doesn't look like it's getting enough biodiesel to keep it running consistently, right? Yeah, it's sort of getting little bits of fuel at a time over here, which is a little bit sad. I suppose what we could do is like turn it off for a while to store up a little bit of the biodiesel fuel, and I think we can do that with a lever or something like that. And now it's just come to a complete halt, I think, because we've run out of juice. The system has literally run out of juice. We need to get our infinite seed production going so that we can produce this plant oil, right? And we also need to get bone meal out here infinitely so that we can produce the potatoes to make the ethanol. My goodness, my dudes, this power plant has gone from a few culinary generators freaking cooking down some freaking sandwiches into something way more complicated, but something way more awesome. Next episode, guys, we will continue work on this. We also have to set up some street lights in Full City. We got one more episode to get that job done, so we need to do that next time. But unfortunately for now, my friends, we have run out of time here at Big Cheez Power. Looks pretty awesome though, right? Absolutely loving it. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed today's episode, guys, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, man. We be cooking with gas out here, baby. This power plant's going to be absolutely awesome. And I really love these immersive engineering multi-blocks. They are so freaking sweet. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. ReNDoG and Annie the Anvil signing out. We'll smell you all in the next episode. Bye, everybody.